Okay, Swede does not have all of OBS ready.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I know I'm not recording, but I don't have it ready.
I'm really sorry to hear that, Swede.
I guess we're not going to do the prisoner's dilemma, because otherwise everyone would need to be able to record.
Oh no, I could be able to record.
Take your headphones off and just sit in the corner until we're done with the interview.
Snake, I could record. I just
You just don't want to put the work in. Just work shy.
I mean, but nobody's asking me, and you're recording anyways.
Yeah, but no one's ever offered to take the weight off my shoulders. You know, the heavy burden, the cross I have to bear.
I mean, you're the one who uploads it anyways.
I am the one who uploads. Walter White.
I am the upload.
Okay, so last we left off, you allowed Volsetta and her brother to escape.
Well, allowed is a way of phrasing that.
After the brother threw you a bag of 700 coin, and Asherby asked you, said you're gonna need to stick around to explain everything that just happened in the last 10 minutes. So, let's cut to let's say they want to separate you, to talk to you all separately. Is there any resistance to that?
Aegis doesn't resist.
Yeah, doesn't resist that.
Alright.
Axe does not. He does not resist, but he's a big lad.
Right. Okay, so we'll start. What?
Axe doesn't resist, but he's a big lad.
He's big for you.
There's a tenuous connection between the ideas.
I'm just saying.
Big people don't resist.
If they want to move him, they're gonna have to put a few more people.
But he doesn't resist.
He just sort of ragdolls on them.
I'm not resisting, but I'm not helping.
Exactly.
That's what Marlo does when she doesn't want to go somewhere.
Aww.
She just ragdolls.
What a stubborn fool.
How much does she weigh again?
40 kilograms.
Yeah.
No, 35. Jesus. 35. It's males that weigh 40. Of that breed.
So, Neo, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Is one of the states in one of these two alliances, big alliances, are they thinking of leaving, exiting, as you will?
Are you going to try and use that to your advantage?
This was already
uploaded. Britain will no longer be in the EU. Crazy.
Yeah.
This was already Tarrant, Brexiting from.
You said Tensis, you mean?
Tensis Brexiting from the Confederacy.
They Texit it.
The Tensit.
It was really easy. Regent Springs left the Confederacy, right?
Ow.
Neo?
What?
Regent Springs left the Confederacy, right?
They were never in the Confederacy.
Oh, okay. They joined the League, though.
They joined the League,
They should have been in the Confederacy and left, so they could have had, Regent Sprung as their fucking their slogan. Instead of marry on, marry out.
Marion's in the Confederacy.
Mario?
I know, that was the party that was, pushing. Senecon. I know their Confederacy. I know they're super fucking Confederacy. They are locked in.
Okay, so we'll start with Axe.
Hello, me Axe.
Yeah, so you're in a room let's say you've just been taken to a room.
Is it a small room?
No. It's a room big enough for you.
But the share must be small, right?
Yes, the share is somewhat small for you.
and the table. Good.
Okay. So, a man walks in and says, "So, let me get this. So your name?
Axe.
Uh,
Oh,
you
actually,
were,
have they taken our weapons?
you've been asked to leave your weapons, at the door.
Axe doesn't, because he's not leaving it. Zach?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, this is gonna be a real.
I love
Alright,
that we
okay,
just asked
so
a
I
bunch
guess
of
we
questions to
rewind.
introduce problems into the thing.
So
Did
we
they ask me
rewind.
to leave my weapons.
You're
guess.
refusing.
Well, I
So you're
refused.
refusing to leave your axe behind.
Yeah.
They
Azora is also refusing to like part with her sword. If like we
Okay.
might as well get this out of the way together.
They
all
tell
at
Aegis is
once.
the only person who's
Alright.
cooperative.
Corin is too. Corin has, put aside
Oh,
his
yeah,
weapon.
Wow, Korn is trying to. Wow, he's kissing up to the boss.
All right.
Azora offers. She like says like, "Look, I will die before I part with the sword. If it pleases you, you can like bind my hands along with the like hilt to the scabbard so that it can't be drawn or wielded."
Can you not just leave your sword in its scabbard on on this table here, for while we just speak to you?
Stays on my person. You can bind my hands if you want.
Are you strong enough to rip out of the bindings?
No.
You know, these people are smart. These people are quick. You gotta give it to them.
Yeah. Don't you have like magic bindings or something?
Hmm.
What do you think
Aegis
this
like
is,
steps
a mag-
outside for a smoke.
How
thinking
about those
time in
bindings
this
that got
conversation.
more hot the more you tried to pull out of them? Wasn't that a thing in Hemlock?
All right. He's gonna. All right. They go up to you as words. All right. We have. If you're being truthful, then we do have an enchantment on a binding that will never come out, as long as you give your consent.
If it never comes out,
Until we decide to unlock it.
But they need consent.
okay.
Not
But
good
it
for
can be
business.
unlocked to confirm.
Yes.
As
This will
you will.
just ensure that. This will ensure that only we can take this off.
Damn, these people though, they are like, yeah. They were ready for that.
What's funny is you asked the question that led to this scenario.
All right.
No,
Oh,
yeah, I'm just like,
And they
this
look
was
at
something I
Axe.
was considering, that they would probably want to take her sword, and that's like a big thing with the sword.
So,
She can't
Azora
be part
agrees?
of the sword. Yeah.
They look at Axe. Did they ask you to submit to the same requirement if you refuse to part with your weapon?
Fine. Axe, yes. You can use silly magic on Axe.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna do much.
But you consent to it.
Axe does indeed do the consent.
He has a move that
The
allows him
consenting
to
word.
resist magic.
That's
Teacher,
resistant.
teacher.
He can resist the magic, but he's consenting to the magic being done. So he's not resisting it at the moment.
I mean, I feel it's a passive thing.
It'll be locked
even if
in.
he
No, he'll be locked in.
I mean, maybe Axe can use it if he wants to break free later.
No, he can't actually.
Why?
This is
I think
Because
you'll
it's-
find
it's-
that the GM is required to be a fan of Axe.
This is a consented curse. Like you are allowing them to say that this is
It's
something
not
you are
consensual
agreeing
if you
to.
don't have a safe word.
I'm just
They-
gonna say, Aegis just puts his spear
Yeah.
on the table.
Yeah, they bind Axe's hands and they bind
No, okay,
Azora's
okay.
hands.
Axe just
with-
goes fine.
with-
Axe- No,
What?
Axe just goes like, Axe don't like the idea of being bound. Axes have been bound before, and
so
he just
you'll leave the axe
he takes his
outside?
Yeah, no, he takes his axe. Put it on the table, right?
You can probably leave that standing up over here, and they point to like
Oh, too late.
like a
because
decent area. Oh,
Axe is just slamming it into the table.
yeah, it breaks through the table and they
Wait.
sigh.
Swede, look in the other roleplay Discord. The Batman one.
Well, the other roleplay Discord.
Wow.
Batman one.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay, so fast forward again. Your name,
Axe.
and you were hired by Asher Bai, along with. Can you say your teammates' names for me?
Yes. Name, they be Aegis and Asura.
One unaccounted for.
Oh, elf dude. Axe don't remember name.
It doesn't start with A. It breaks the
Okay.
whole scheme.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Kobe? No, Cody?
So, you took who? Why did you take the job?
Because Axe worked with friends.
Right, and why did they take the job?
I think it was because money.
For money, right? For the payout. When you arrived here, what was your course of action?
Well, Axe decided we were gonna investigate, so Axe decided to go investigate the mess hall. And decided to investigate the food.
Okay. And
Because
what?
you see, people were dying, so we investigate things. And Axe, investigated food, everything, omelets.
So your job was to investigate the food.
Oh, no, Axe chose to investigate the food. Our job was to investigate something else. Why students were dying.
Well, yes, but your part of that assignment was investigating the food. Then,
No, Axe just did it on his own accord.
what else did you do?
Axe were talking with Beastmaster.
Yes.
He rude.
Mm-hmm.
Then Axe got blamed for breaking bed. The Axe didn't break.
Right. Well, let's skip to the meat of the matter. When you
Me?
in the what
What
what is your recollection of the events that led to the departure of our musicians Volsetta and fucking hold on
this guy doing the interrogation is just as bad.
of our musicians Volsetta and Argon.
Oh,
Axe is infectious.
well, you see, Axe, Aegis had found lead, he thinks.
Is it Aegis or Aegis?
It's Aegis, but
Aegis.
it doesn't matter.
I'm just thinking now, should Axe be honest, or should he lie?
Well, I know which way I'm going. I think we should just do what our characters would do, and we'll reap the drama later.
Oh, okay. Well, Aegis apparently found someone who was killing student. So expected it.
And who was it?
I think it was violin player.
There was no violin.
I don't know.
Are you referring to the harp?
Azor
Instruments
plays
were involved.
violin.
You just incriminated Azora.
Right. So are you referring to the harp?
Sure. Big stringy thing.
Yes, the harp. So you determined that the harpist Volsetta was behind it, behind the deaths.
Possibly.
Possibly.
We never
You
got.
weren't sure.
Well, we were interrogating her. She seemed pretty nice, to be honest. But then big commander guy came in, being all rah, rah, rah.
Ooh, this is good. You're
You're
corroborating my version of events.
You're referring
Good job.
to.
Great, I'm gonna be the one with suspicion in the end.
You're referring to Instructor Veritas.
Yes, him.
So what happened next?
Oh, his head exploded.
Yes, we've heard. Do you have any idea what may have caused that?
I don't know. Him angry? Though no, not as angry as Axe. An axe head never explode.
Witnesses state hearing a drum beat and believe it may have had something to do with the brother Argon. Do you find anything? Do you agree with that?
Axe don't really understand how it could be drums. If it was music, and then everyone who heard it would have had exploded.
Right. So you were investigating a lead that your teammate Aegis felt that Volseta, the harpists, may have been behind the deaths of the students, but your interview found her to be nice,
Yes.
and
She nice.
then
She wouldn't
Instructor
kill innocent.
Veritas walked in and disrupted the interrogation,
Yes.
and then his head exploded.
Yes.
And then Volseta and Argon left on a boat that had been
Yes.
burning.
Yes. Axe was carrying a big thing. But
The
Axe
harp,
didn't-
yes. You
Yes.
threw the harp onto the boat as it was leaving. Do you mind explaining why you did that?
Oh, well, you see,
You were trying to
Axe-
attack them with the harp.
Axe was thinking they were running away, and Axe needed something to throw on boat, and the harp was heavy.
Why did you want to throw something on the boat?
Axe, gotta be honest, Axe don't particularly like boat.
But they were running away, you say? But you said your interview with her made her come off as nice.
Oh, she nice. We were not finished though, but now she gone.
Do you
well.
think she was guilty?
Axe don't know. She does seem to not like most of you though.
Why did you throw the harp onto the boat then?
Would be rude to just leave Harp alone.
Right. He writes something down.
Besides, it was her thing.
Do you have any idea how the boat came to be on fire?
Well, someone lit it on fire?
Yes. Do you have any idea who did it?
No.
No? Okay.
Nope.
He writes down. I'll be back in this room in a bit. You try to keep yourself entertained. And
Okay.
he exits the room.
Axe instantly just looks around. And he starts doing push-ups.
Okay. So, they walk in to Aegis. You're in a room. At a chair with a table, and a man comes in and says, "State your name."
Aegis Aglia.
All right. You were hired by Asher Bai, correct?
That is correct. Oh, can I
As
ask,
a-
do I know the interrogator, or is this someone new?
No, he's someone new.
Okay.
You were tasked with Asher Bai to investigate the. How would you describe how did he describe the mission for you? What would you describe as your job?
He wanted someone who was outside of the Mandala school system to come in and investigate the rash of student deaths that had been occurring over the last several days.
Right. And why did you take this job?
Money.
Money. All right. And who else was hired along with you?
My companions, Azora, Axe, and Corum.
All right. When you arrived, what was your job personally? What was your mode of action?
Myself, Azora, and Axe, we went our separate ways and spoke with the students and faculty as much as we were allowed to. None of us are magically inclined, so we had to depend on more mundane methods of investigation. I think I'm good. I think I'm okay with people, so I just went about it like that. Though I don't think anyone here would agree with me when I say that.
Right, well, I'm only here to collect the facts as you remember them. And he writes something down. Witnesses say you did not. Witnesses say that with witnesses say that your disposition towards Instructor Veritas was somewhat combative. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, he was roadblocking me at every step of my investigation, which led me to suspect him pretty heavily.
You suspected him as part of the cause?
Everything pointed to him.
And would you still suspect him now?
No, not with what I currently know.
No. Right.
I was wrong at that point. His blockading of my investigation was a purely personal matter.
Right.
Well, and business, and reputationally, and there's a lot of reasons, but none of them were because he was the killer.
Could you explain to me, when you went to speak? Can you explain to me the circumstances surrounding your interactions with our musicians, Volsetta and Argon, in the moments leading up to the dramatic instance of what happened?
Our investigation had taken several twists and turns. A detail that we had overlooked earlier kind of came back around to us, and we decided to speak with them in the shed. A colleague of mine decided to request that Veritas come over to the site for reasons that aren't entirely...
Which colleague?
Azora. For reasons I'm not entirely clear on, to be quite honest with you. I can't recall why he was needed there at that specific point in time. Why she wanted him there anyway. I was interrogating him. The situation had gotten heated. They were quite on edge from our interrogation. It was a powder keg in there, essentially.
Right. So why were you investigating Volsetta and Argon?
The nature of the deaths turned out to be magical, and the magic made its way into the students shortly before they had to, hit the hay each day. That was the last source of magic. Their performances of an evening would be the last source of magic that they would be exposed to in a day, so quite reasonable that they would become our prime suspects when we figured that one out.
And do you believe them to be behind the killings?
Aegis nods.
Right. So, how did they come to escape?
When Veritas entered, the situation that was already quite high stress kinda tipped over a little bit. A fire had started outside, which kind of heightened problems a fair bit. They were the ones who were writing the reports, if you'll recall, so their report was on that boat, I believe, at the time. Or it was quite important to them at any rate. So him coming in kind of threw all of us off, and they hit she and her brother, who was outside at the time. They made a run for it.
Did they kill Instructor Veritas?
I don't know how your magic works, but his head exploded, so I'm gonna say Veritas had a lot of enemies here, but but any of the students would understand the situation that happened there better than I would.
Well, how did the boat come to be on fire?
That I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Okay. He writes something down. And, why did your companion...
He's just gonna go to Corn. Did you set the boat on fire? Oh, most definitely.
Why?
He just told me to do it. Why?
No, Aegis didn't tell him to do it. He suggested it. Corin was fucking on and was like, hey, I can set the boat on fire. Me.
Why did your companion, the large one, Axe, why did he throw the harp onto the boat as it was leaving?
I have
Large.
no idea.
All right. And as let me write something down. Now, how did you come to be? Did you come here with that much coin on your person?
No.
No. How did you get that coin?
I was thrown it by the musicians. Apparently that was
They
apparently that was theirs.
They threw you 700 coin.
That they did.
Why would they do this?
Aegis shrugs.
Were you attempting to apprehend them? Were you attempting to stop them from leaving on the boat and escaping?
No,
Why not?
it wasn't my job. My job was to find out who did the murders and then report it.
And you didn't think it prudent to catch them when they were attempting to flee?
You think I'm gonna try and stop a couple of people who operate in this school? I'm a spearman and an investigator. I'm not some kind of holy knight like you guys.
Could you not have said that, shouted out, perhaps, that they were the ones behind it and rallied some people to help you as they were attempting to flee?
Perhaps I could have done.
It simply slipped your mind then.
You see the situation out there? The boat was on fire, everyone was running around, and a guy's head just exploded.
And so, let's run through this one more time. You went to investigate the musician Volsetta and the harpist in the storage room. Then you determined her, and perhaps her brother as well, to be behind the deaths of the students. Then Instructor Veritas, at the behest of your teammates Azora, entered the building, and the situation became volatile. Some magic attack happened that caused Instructor Veritas to die. And then, at some point during this, the boat outside caught fire. And... Hold on. Witnesses placed Volsetta outside the storage room when the boat caught fire. She was putting it out, from what we can tell. So Instructor Veritas came in after that, then. But then a hole was blown through the wall. Instructor Veritas dies through some sort of magical attack or incident. And then the perpetrators flee. You make no attempt to pursue them, and yet they give you 700 coin before they do it.
On a second, wasn't... Alright, wait, I'm like saying this out of character. Volsetta was in the fucking shed, though. It was her brother who was doing the drumming shit to get the tidal waves.
No, remember, Azora brought her out for to look at it, and then brought her back in during the... Yeah.
She was brought...
Azora and Volsetta went out to the ship, but then Azora dragged her back into the ship.
Yeah, okay, there we go. So, yeah. She left for a time to do some spells to try and put the fire out, and was then brought back in.
And then the interrogation continued. Instructor Veritas entered. The situation became volatile. Some magical incident occurred that caused the wall of the storage room to blow in, and Instructor Veritas to die quite violently. And then the perpetrators, as you had found them, fled the scene, and you made no attempt to stop them.
I pursued them to the docks before I thought better of it.
Oh, so you did attempt to pursue them, but then backed off.
Yes.
And it was during this time frame that they just happened to throw you 700 coin.
Perhaps a parting gift? I was the first person to hear their whole story. And yes, I did back down.
Would you not describe that as a bribe?
Considering they were already on the boat, they had no reason to bribe me anymore, so I would call it a parting gift.
And oh no.
Did you get and you say you don't know why that harp was thrown onto the boat?
That I do.
what happened first? Did they throw you the coin, or was the harp thrown onto the boat?
Aegis, like, thinks on that for a second, and then just, like, kind of points out, do you realize I was on the other side of the boat, right?
What do you mean?
Like, I'm thinking mentally, unless my mental picture of this is wrong, I was on the pier, Axe ran all the way back and then threw it from the front, so I wouldn't have been able to see Axe anyway. I'm not going into that much detail with it, but from where Aegis was standing, Aegis wasn't in a position to see the harp being thrown onto the boat, so yeah, Aegis just shrugs and goes, that one I can't tell you.
Right. So, that is it then. He writes something down. Well, do you intend to keep the 700 coin?
Aegis,
Wouldn't you?
Aegis just smiles and just...
Who wouldn't keep 700 coin if they
Aegis
could?
just smiles and says, I suppose so. It's no longer the property of those two, and it's not the school's property.
Didn't he divide?
You're assured of that?
I've already split it between me and my companions, so I
Right.
would say that would count as intent to keep.
Yeah, he writes that down. Okay.
Cleanly corrupt.
We'll be back to talk to you in a moment. Do keep yourself entertained. If you'd like a glass of water, we can bring you one.
Wow. Accent get
You
the
people really know how to party.
And he exits the room. And now Azora.
Aegis just pulls out his domino set and starts setting up fucking dominoes.
Azora, you're in a room
Yes.
by yourself, hands tied, the magic bindings on a table. A man walks in and just says, "State your name."
Zora Valigiri.
Azora of what?
Alighieri. Family that adopted me.
You were hired by our instructor Asher Bai to come here, correct?
I believe that was his name.
How would you describe the mission you were given?
Investigate what was killing the students.
Right. Why did you take the mission?
I wasn't the one who initially agreed to it. Frankly, it seemed odd to me that they would hire non-magical mercenaries for an investigation at a magical school, but wasn't me who picked it. I suppose it was the most highest paying job. Frankly, I would have liked something a bit more dangerous to do.
Right. So then why did your teammates pick it?
Highest paying job was offered.
Right.
So, it was a job that other people weren't taking. It was,
I love that
The
all
price
three of
had
us
been
just
going up.
agreed flatly on it was money. Because it was true and it was easy.
yeah,
Right. Yeah,
Oh,
he writes
I want
down.
not the sort of job I would normally accept on my own, but
So Neo,
What?
Axe is getting bored. So in the
Oh no.
so what problems can he cause?
I think I will
walks
cause
through the
problems on purpose.
he starts shadowboxing,
Okay.
but he just
Thanks
gets
for
sick.
letting
With bound
know.
hands?
Oh no, he doesn't.
No, his
have
hands
bound
aren't bound. Yeah, he just gave up the axe for it.
No, I just gotta say, sometimes he accidentally hits the wall, and
Okay.
he's a big, strong guy. He leaves mark.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, you can hear a thump.
Okay. Thanks for letting us know.
All for the role play.
The roleplay thumps. Neighbor of mine was like hammering earlier today, so it's very immersive.
Alright, so yeah, he looks forward and says, when you arrived here, how would you describe your job? What was your mode of action?
Investigate what was causing the deaths.
And how did you do that?
Mostly talk to people. Talk to a student, Jethro. Not
Jethro.
this kid. He gave me a lot of information on things. We talked to a few of the instructors, faculty. read some stuff in the library.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Right,
Did
so
some
that-
I did some investigation in Veritas's office after he left. The one of the faculty can confirm that.
Mhm.
Don't
Which
remember his
faculty?
name.
You don't
Azora
remember.
gives like a physical description of him.
Ah, the Beastmaster.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, he writes that down. Right. So, as for the events, now let's go over the events of that led to the dramatic incident. How how did you come to speak? How did you come to be in the storage room with the harpist Falsetta and the quartermaster Anselmo?
Veritas was my primary suspect in the investigation with unclear methods. Came to realize that through the magic, most likely candidate was the musicians, and from interviewing them, they seemed up to something suspicious, hiding things. Not as suspicious or covering things as Veritas, but still. So, came to investigate them, pushing for information, more confident that they were involved in. They were the ones. They were the channel through which the magic was going. Around that time, the boat sets on fire. Or what was her name?
Falsetta.
Falsetta runs out to investigate. I follow. Suspect my working theory remains Veritas and them might have had might have been working together, might have been opposed. I don't know the exact nature of their relationship. We were interrogating to find that out. But in any case, I suspected Veritas. He was certainly trying to impede the investigation, which seemed to be trying to cover up something. I suspected he might have been burning the boat so that word couldn't go back to the main island. I suggested this to Volsetta. She seemed panicked and concerned and started opening up to me and confessed to what I had suspected of being the magical implement who was casting the spell with the ceremonies. I detained her back at the shed where we had been before to interrogate her. I also requested that Veritas be summoned so that once we were done with her, I could immediately question him. We were questioning her. As I recall, we were discussing, I was considering removing her hands so that she couldn't use magic to escape, as she had, admitted to that much that she could do that and seemed dangerous. At which point Veritas burst in, entered by force. I requested that he wait outside. Things got heated, and as he was yelling, his head exploded. And as I was trying to deal with that situation, Volsetta managed to escape along with her brother.
Do you have any idea what caused Instructor Veritas' head to explode?
Why wouldn't it? Guy seemed pretty angry.
Mhm.
Sorry, that was perhaps inappropriate. I would assume it was possible we hadn't detained the brother yet. Could have been him. I don't really know how the magic works. Guy clearly had a lot of enemies around here, though. I don't think it's conclusive, but they've escaped and he's dead, so can't really interrogate him now.
When they escaped, was there any attempt to pursue?
I believe so, from Aegis. Neither Axe and I are the fast. He's by far the fastest of us, and again, I was busy dealing with the situation of the exploding head.
How were you dealing with that situation?
poorly.
Well, not too well, apparently, but
What did you try to do?
CPR.
make sure no one else's head was exploding, assess the immediate situation, try and look into if I could immediately find who was guilty. If this might have been an ongoing attack, other people might have started getting attacked. So whoever did it might come forward and try and strike out at more people. Uncertain. It's best to control the situation with a level head.
Why did you? Why did you were in the storage room then
Yes.
at the time? Do you have any idea why your large teammate Axe ran into the storage room, grabbed the harp, and threw it onto the boat as it was leaving?
He threw the harp at the boat?
He did.
Well, harp's pretty big. He's a strong guy and can throw something that heavy. And I would assume he would be trying to throw it at them, one last effort to stop them. Maybe hit the mast or something. I wouldn't know. You'd have to ask him for the logic, but that would seem pretty apparent to me to try and throw something heavy at them.
He writes that down.
He doesn't tend to. He tends to be pretty simple and straightforward like that. Just hit things with a heavy thing.
Do you have any idea why the musicians handed your teammate Aegis 700 coin?
If I had to guess, I would assume might be some sort of attempt at a bribe to get, stop people pursuing them. Might just be guilty conscious. She seemed pretty scared when I was interrogating her. She seemed concerned. Personally, I suspect might have been working with Veritas or something else, but she seemed to be more afraid of something else other than us, so...
So you believe Instructor Veritas was part of the reason students were dying?
Yes.
You believe
I can't say the exact detail of the nature. Again, he was killed before we could interrogate further.
And you believe Volseta and her brother Argon were as well?
Yes.
Yes. And you would
She confessed as much.
And you would characterize that 700 coin as an attempt at a bribe?
Azores, I don't really know. I was just handed some money and don't quite fully understand where it came from.
Well, your teammate Aegis received the money right around the time he gave up on pursuing them. Do you think there might be a connection there?
I think it's possible it was a bribe, but again, I can't speak for their motives. It might also have been a request for some sort of protection. Would be another immediate theory that comes to mind given how scared she was.
And would you be okay with protecting them?
No.
No? Would you follow along with your teammate Aegis if he was?
Azora shrugs and just... I'd have to be in that situation to comment on it. Doesn't seem particularly likely to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he writes that down. Do you have any idea how the boat came to be on fire?
I assume Veritas had something to do with it. How or in what capacity, I couldn't say.
Right. He writes that down. Well, I'll be back in a moment.
That was the theory I mentioned to her, and it seemed to resonate with her, so I suspect that was at least what Volseta suspected too.
Alright. I'll be back in a moment. Would you like any water?
Sure.
He's like, I'm gonna need to... Yeah, he takes out a pig of water and just says, open your mouth. Since your hands are bound.
Can't even just get a straw, just have to fucking...
How humiliating.
Yeah. Alright, so yeah, he leaves. And he goes to talk to Corin, which that scene will not play out.
Dang.
We'll never know. Corn's just gonna sell us all out.
Yeah, we're gonna be fucking
Women.
guillotined.
He's gonna tell them that we were actually behind the murders all along. We set this up to create a mystery for us to solve, and then murdered, like, we had paid them to do it, and then, you know, like,
We're actually
they
Mirage
fled,
School
yeah.
spies. Plants.
Veritas was onto us, and we're the ones who made his head explode to, you know, like, cover it up.
So, let's see. Ah. Mhm.
I think we're about to die. Our heads are all just gonna explode in the rooms that we're in.
So,
All right, Aegis.
Mm.
The man comes back into your room and says, how are you?
I think it's just, I'm doing okay.
Right. Well, we've gone over your statements individually. We've noted some inconsistencies. You said you fingered, namely on the nature of who was behind, the nature of the conclusion of your investigation. All four of you came to different conclusions.
Wait, is this the four of us together being told
No,
this?
he's talking
Okay.
to Aegis.
Okay.
Yeah. You state that the musicians were behind. You concluded the musicians were behind it.
I concluded that I believe the musicians to be behind it. Yes.
And that Veritas was not. Azora concluded that Veritas and the musicians were likely working together, but
That wasn't exactly what I said.
And also, that wasn't exactly what I said. I didn't clear him of suspicion. I said my belief mainly lies with the musicians. I never said Veritas was totally off the hook. I just said I don't believe him to be the key culprit.
Alright.
I thought they were both involved. I wasn't positive they were working.
Azora, your teammate Azora, came to the conclusion that they were both involved, if somewhat opposed. Your teammate Axe came to the conclusion that Volseta and Argon were likely not at the forefront of it, as he believed that they seemed nice and not.
They seemed quote unquote nice.
Aegis does throw in that your reason that they seemed
and he said that they were nice and likely. He said that they were nice and that he didn't believe they were behind the deaths. And when pressed, he said that it might have been Instructor Veritas behind it. And your teammate Corin said that the conclusion led you to suspect Volseta as the sole person. Led him to suspect Volseta as the sole perpetrator behind the events.
All right.
So those are inconsistencies in the conclusions, but I suppose that can all be personal opinion after all the things that happened. But furthermore,
I was gonna say, not that this guy knows, but basically two of his companions has brain damage.
Yeah, we're a great investigative team.
You really could, play that card. I'm the only, I guess, no, there is Corn, too.
Furthermore, the 700 coin.
This is an episode of Monk, really.
Uh,
God, I
the
don't
700 coin. There's a mess. This is the biggest inconsistency. Corin had stated that the money was on his person the whole time, and that he gave it to you for safekeeping.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
bullshit.
Corn trying to
Nino,
come
you can't
through for
fucking
us.
do that.
I can't believe that Corn just.
Okay, and yeah, okay, I guess just look
Azora
blankly at him.
characterized it. Azora agreed that it could have been characterized as a bribe, as she described it.
Wow, really trying to like
All right, I'm gonna
spin
I'm
my
gonna-
stance.
Yeah, that's
And-
not fucking right.
Axe stated that he didn't know where it came from. And you, of course, stated that they threw it to you, and you could not guess at the reason why.
All right. Aegis kind of like leans back in his chair for a bit, kind of taps his chin, then just kind of leans forward, like leans in both like shoulders on the desk. And I'm about to do some real fucking elf racism right now, so get ready for it.
no.
Oh,
All right.
Corn, you brought him in to this party.
he's about
Yeah,
to say
but
the
I'm not gonna let
word.
him fuck us on this one. So Aegis has been in this country long enough to know you can be racist to elves and get away with it. Actually, as said, what race is the interrogator?
He's a human.
Good. All right. Perfect. Corum. Yeah. Aegis just says Corum said that. Did he?
Yeah.
Okay. Corum is my newest recruit. He's a forest elf we picked up pretty far south in the country, who's not very well traveled and is quite easy and quite easy and prone to fright. If anything, I would suspect that the money came up and he panicked because he thinks there might be something suspect with it, which in a sense there is. I will not argue that 700 coin thrown at a guy from a boat isn't suspect, but yeah, I think I think that one there is a detail you can discard from fright or panic. As
Throw it at a
for
guy.
You can spin it off as being woke, that he's scared of elf racism.
wait, who is scared of elf racism?
No, that Corum is
Oh,
scared
yeah,
he's
okay, let's
gonna
do that.
get yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. And well, he could also be worried that there was some suspicion going his way.
Oh man.
Being an elf and all. Being a dirty long ear.
Being a knife ear and all.
Oh. He
Uh,
says the K word. Do you have a pass for that?
I think let's hope this guy's equally elf racist so that works. And I say, as for Axe, yes, he didn't know. Axe was, well, I was the only one who was at the docks really at the time in pursuit. And yeah, there is going to be some inconsistency between me and Azora's statements, as both of us aren't totally clear on why the money was thrown at me. Perhaps a bribe, even though as I said, I think it a bit curious that a bribe would come my way after they already made great distance from me and were on the boat. The situation was out of my hands by that point.
So you think there's no connection? You think there's no connection between you stopping your pursuit, giving up on your pursuit, and being handed 700 coin flung from a boat?
I'm not going to say there is no connection. I'm just going to say I can't say.
Right.
I mean, yeah, Aegis actually thinks about it and just says, you've held a sack of gold before in your hands, right? Say 20 coin, 50 coin, maybe 100, perhaps much bigger. You know how heavy that is, right?
Yes.
A sack of 700 could kill a guy.
You know,
You think he intended to kill you?
you know,
No,
I
I'm
don't
not saying
need
they intended to
700
kill
coin.
me. I'm just saying that's a possibility while we're throwing things out there.
Besides, also, you like the weight of coin, right? You know, I don't need 700.
So you stated that it is your belief that the coin is yours to keep, as they threw it, and it is no longer theirs, and it must have been their property, and you don't believe it is the school's property.
I said I don't believe, sure.
Well, they did
And
steal
then,
a
and then he pulls
school
out the
boat.
sack, and then it's like property of.
Yeah. Yeah,
And-
they did flee on a school boat, and all of their possessions were given to them by the school.
Wow, no.
Aegis shrugs his shoulders and says, "So you're saying that they didn't actually really earn any money in the course of working here? Sounds like a raw deal to me."
They could have brought the money here
Sure it
before
was.
getting hired. You don't know they didn't.
Well, we know they weren't hired here. They were child slaves brought up here. So I'm not sure if I want to throw that guilt trip in their face. That'll be playing real hardball. And the really stupid hardball as well, to be quite honest.
Well, given that the coin they threw at you was in fact school property, I'm afraid it's not yours for the keeping.
Wow, Neo doesn't
No,
want us to
nah,
have...
fuck you. This money that they earned was school property, so you don't get to keep. Nah, fuck that. That's stupid. I ask you to
Aegis.
retcon that sentence out of existence because it's dumb.
And now Aegis just goes, "No, you filthy fucking
So-
communist. I earned this money."
Make an argument for me as to why you should be allowed to leave with all 700 coin.
Was that
Just
in
live
character?
in America.
Yeah.
Aegis shrugs and goes, "You're saying that money that they had earned on their own time was school property?"
We don't know if it was even the money they earned. It could have just been money on the boat that they stole.
Well, I'm pretty sure you would like to pick the argument that suits you better, so I'm just gonna pick the one that suits me better.
Alright.
Why don't you, Snake?
You
Bribes-
did.
I never like bribing people in these games because the GM could just be arbitrary, like, no, he's not going to take a bribe, and now you fucked your whole argument. So
You
bye.
did do an investigation. I will give you that. You managed to any of the suspects are now no longer an issue, one way or the other, provided those two don't come back on that boat.
They'd be a fool too at this point.
The initial agreement to payment was 300 coin. Would you... I would like to ask... Would you be willing to give us the 400 of the 700 you were given?
Not really.
You wouldn't?
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he writes that down. Right.
Refuses to give us money.
How much of a problem do you think there would be if we attempted to take 400? Take that 400.
Aegis shrugs.
Well, they totally could just be like, "Hey, so we're taking your money to his sword." She'd just be like, "Okay." They're really barking up the wrong tree here.
If we demanded 400 of the 700 back and allowed you to leave, what would you do?
The hell kind of...
I'm asking if you're going to cause a problem.
I solved
What?
your problem.
What?
Aegis just like cocks his head a little and goes, "I solved your problem."
I would agree, but 700 coin? He writes something down. Let me go. I'll go talk to your compatriots for a bit. I'll be back when I have a conclusive answer for you. And he gets up and goes to Axe.
Oh yeah, Axis. As he walks in, Axis punched some neat holes in the wall.
Alright.
Hello.
You've
Axel,
caused yet more damage to the building, I see.
what? This nothing. You can use this later for interrogation. Just say.
Hmm.
that one of your interrogators did this.
Would you be willing to hand over a portion of the coin that you received from the suspects to us? As we believe we have looked into it and we believe that to be school property.